Welcome back to Cloud 2K, and today we have to talk about the collapse in Game 2 of the Boston Celtics, blowing another 20-point lead in the second half, including a huge fourth quarter in which the Knicks outscore the Celtics by 13 points to take a 2-0 series lead. The Knicks go on a 38-17 run to win 91-90 off a huge defensive play by Mikal Bridges to block Jayson Tatum's shot. Maybe it was a pass attempt. You know what I'm saying. I do want to start by talking about Mikal Bridges, who was 0 of 8 going into the fourth quarter, but goes 6 for 10, scoring all 14 of his buckets in the fourth quarter. And of course, again, the big game-sealing block / steal. It just seems like the Celtics were ahead of the whole game. Again, unfortunately, the Celtics are a team that lives by the three ball. They die by the three ball. And so far in these first two games, they are dying by the three ball, shooting, 10 of 40, I believe, from three. And a part where really in the third quarter, I believe 90+% of their shots, all but one or two of their shots, were three-pointers. And that's what started the Knicks comeback. The Boston Celtics are now 25 of 100 from three-point range in games 1 and 2. That's including 4 of 26 from the three-point line in both fourth quarters. They simply just rely so much on their jump shot, which is really, really unfortunate when you have big athletic players like a Jaylen Brown, like Jayson Tatum, Kristaps Porzingis, who, again, unfortunately is dealing with that illness still back from March. I'm hoping he's okay. Really, really scary stuff. But they simply just rely on a three ball way too much for a team that's full of athletes that can get to the paint. Josh Hart has been the perfect energy guy this entire series. He's shooting 11 for 25, 44% from three in these first two games so far. And he was actually the leading scorer for the New York Knicks in game 2. They're leaving him open because they would rather guard a Jalen Brunson, a Mikal Bridges, an OG Anunoby, a Karl-Anthony Towns, and Josh Hart seems to be the odd man out on defense. And he's making them pay. He's making them pay big time. He was the biggest energy glue guy. He was the one that's going to take the shots in the fourth quarter, the third quarter, to get the run started. If there's one thing Josh Hart's been his entire career, especially with the Knicks, it's a guy that's going to blow up plays. He's going to do anything he can to get the momentum flowing. This is now 2 games in a row that Jayson Tatum's offense has really struggled to find its footing. 23 points on 7 for 23 shooting in game 1, and in game 2, only 13 points on 5 of 19 shooting. This is a guy that defensively, rebounding, playmaking, he's still got it. He's still one of the best players in the league, but his offense has just simply not been there this playoff run, really. And I think the biggest thing has been the lack of paint touches for this Boston Celtics team. This is a team that in the NBA playoffs, hell, even in the regular season, are second to last in drives per game, only behind the Denver Nuggets, who have a guy like Nikola Jokic. The Boston Celtics are a team that, for some reason, just think they're so much better than the rest of the NBA that they're able to just simply walk out there, jack up three-point shots. They're playing the analytical game of, as long as we get up this many three-pointers, we're going to hit at least this many, and that's going to win. We're going to outscore our opponents. But now when the three-pointers are not hitting, it's simply not working, and it's looking very, very ugly. The Knicks started a 21-4 run in the fourth quarter, in which the Boston Celtics missed 12 straight shots and went more than 8 minutes without a field goal. A team that all of a sudden felt like they were backpedaling for the second straight game, and they did not have the poise from Jayson Tatum to really bring them back into this game. He's a guy that couldn't seem to get to the paint, to the free throw line. Even when he did get to the paint, he missed. It felt like he missed multiple layups this game. He simply did not look good. And again, this is 2 games now in a row that he has not looked good in this series. This Knicks team that they're facing right now is probably the best team they've faced in the Eastern Conference in the past 2-3 years since we've seen this full version of the Boston Celtics. And while I still think the Boston Celtics are the best team in the Eastern Conference, they're simply playing down to their competition. And again, this is a very good Knicks team, so it's not like this is a super, super crazy upset so far, but I'm not sure if anybody in the world was picking the Knicks over the Celtics other than, of course, your biased Knicks fans. At the end of the game, Jayson Tatum drove down the court, got a bucket, and then down on the other side, Jalen Brunson was fouled, hit the 2 free throws to put them up by 1. And a lot of people are questioning, a lot of Celtic fans are upset at Joe Muscala for not taking the timeout and just letting the players play, in which Tatum obviously walked down the court, tried to find a bucket, couldn't get one, was blocked by Mikal Bridges. Actually, Joe Muscala had a quote that said, Had one timeout left, got a good look on the exact same play 20 seconds later, Muscala said. Tried to execute this exact same thing. They did a better job of their lower pickup point, and we weren't able to get advantage that we had on the last Tatum dunk. Brunson had action there, just didn't execute. Basically, the gist of it was that Joe Muscala didn't want to take a timeout in which the New York Knicks could sub out Jalen Brunson for a better defender, so he trusted his guy, Jayson Tatum, to go down there and make a bucket, which, in retrospect, is probably a smart thing to do. But of course, revisionist history 2020, you can see obviously that did not work out. They were not able to get a good playoff. They really wasn't a good set for them to run, and it ended up in a broken play again, because I feel like the Celtics had nothing but broken plays this entire game, and they could not score, and it loses them a game, puts them down 0-2, and in a really, really tough spot now going back to Madison Square Garden. But we've been talking nothing but negative about the Boston Celtics, and it's really, really time to congratulate and give a lot of praise to the New York Knicks. Obviously, it's a 2-0 series. The series not over. They need to win 2 more games before the Celtics win 4, and we all know the Boston Celtics are a team that can do that. Jalen Brunson, again, has been really, really good. He's obviously the best player on the New York Knicks. He's a guy that, in the fourth quarter, that's clutch player of the year. He makes timely buckets. He hits the game-winning free throws, and in game 2, they got a huge game from Josh Hart. His 23 points, again, with the huge offensive rebounds. They simply get it done. Karl-Anthony Towns has not been huge this series. I think I've expected a little bit more of him, but they've had the switchability. The Celtics defense has had the switchability to kind of put a lot of people on Karl-Anthony Towns. They're going to need a huge Karl-Anthony Towns games in Game 3 to really, really set the tone. The Knicks have already set the tone of this series going up 2-0, but if they can get a big Karl-Anthony Towns game in Game 3 to go up 3-0 in Madison Square Garden, I think this series is finished. But again, I'm not buying too far into this series being over, because the Boston Celtics are the best to second best team in the entire NBA. Depending on how you look at it, the Knicks need to stay hungry. They need to continue fighting on defense. This is a team that the team defense has not been great most of the season. This is a offensive team, but they make timely stops. They'll go through stretches where they lock up everything for multiple minutes at a time, and that's where the Boston Celtics are failing, and that's where the New York Knicks are starting their runs at. There's not another player in the entire NBA I would rather have the ball in the fourth quarter than Jalen Brunson. The guy is electric. Again, I mentioned before, clutch player of the year. He gets it done offensively. He makes big defensive stops when it counts. He is the heart of New York. He is the captain. You know, that's his nickname, the captain of the New York Knicks. At the end of the day, the Knicks just have more fight in their heart than the Boston Celtics, and you're seeing it on the court every single game. Mostly in the second half, it seems like the Knicks are getting out to a bit of a slower start on offense to start the games, but when it gets to crunch time, when it gets to it really mattering, you can tell the New York Knicks just simply have more heart. I don't know if it's because they have Josh Hart, funny enough, or I don't know if the Celtics are just stuck playing down to their competition. It's something they seem to always do, and they think they were just that much better, in which they can just do whatever they want. They need Tatum to be better all around. Jaylen Brown had a good first half and collapsed in the second half. Jrue Holiday's defense, Derek White's defense, not been great. These shots Derek White takes, not been great. Kristaps can't seem to stay on the floor. Not that it's really any fault of his own. You're hoping he gets healthy soon. This has been a great 2 games because, of course, if you're a Celtics fan, you're upset at them blowing multiple 20-point. But if you're a neutral fan or, of course, a Knicks fan, this has been cinema to watch. I think most of the NBA world is rooting for the New York Knicks at this point in time to take down the Boston Celtics. It's been fun. It's been electric. I can't wait for Game 3, Game 4, and hopefully we get 7 of these. The entire world has been doubting the New York Knicks, and when it came down to crunch time, they did this.
Not going to use the timeout. Plenty of time here. It's Tatum. Robinson's on him. Tatum maneuvering. Oh, the ball knocked away. Another great defensive play for the Knicks. They've got it. They've won it. New York has gone up 2 games.